did you learn so much from that first one?
It teaches you that it's not all rainbows and butterflies right away. So like you get kicked in the nuts right away. You're like, holy shit.
Welcome to the Troy Kearns podcast. We talk all things real estate, business, entrepreneurship. Today, I've got a very special guest out of Columbus, Ohio. Just killed it on the stage here in Kansas City. Welcome to the show, Tommy.
Thanks. Appreciate you having me.
So Tommy Harr, Columbus, Ohio. You're 29 years old. You just really blew people back, especially about your first flip. Tell us about your story.
Yeah, man. So one of 5 kids, grew up in a Midwestern family, big family, take care of each other. My dad is an entrepreneur, my mom's a teacher, so very blue collar. Yeah. So that's where I get a lot of my work ethic from. And grew up, graduated college, went to college as a Division I athlete, played soccer, and then became a home inspector with my dad. So learned how to be a home inspector, learned how to assess houses, and then during that same time fell in love with real estate investing and the idea of passive income, the idea of taking care of my future lineage other than working every single day to make money. Fell in love with wholesaling and then also rental properties and just kind of went all in.
So as a competitive soccer player, which I just learned about, where did that drive come from? Was that from your parents? Did your dad play soccer or
So my dad was athletic, but never really an athlete. Yeah. My mom, not really much either. I'm just competitive as hell. Yeah. Always was. I always wanted to win. I was always the fastest kid in school. Really? So always wanted to just. It feels good to win, And it sucks to lose.
It doesn't. It doesn't feel good.
Take that same demeanor into business and into kind of the way I run my life.
So you went to college. I don't think I know what your degree was in.
Finance and entrepreneurship.
Double major. Did any of those courses translate?
No, absolutely not. Other than so they had an entrepreneurship program and they gave you $5,000 of seed money. Yeah. And you went and started a small business. Yeah. So we started these Alex and Ani bracelets were huge at the time, and some girls hey, there's not a Dayton one. So we got these ones from China. Yeah. I was the salesman. Yeah. And I went and sold the shit out of those things because I was 19, 20 years old, sophomore in college. I'm selling women's bracelets. Yeah. I'm a single dude, so I'm so you're telling me that I can go around to the women's dorm room and just sell things, they want to actually see me? It's this is fucking amazing. Yeah. So, that part translated into what I'm doing now, but the rest of the stuff now. Yeah,
I think, the funniest thing is I went to Central Washington University, which is, the only thing it's known for. You probably don't even know this football player, but John Kitna, who's a quarterback for the Seahawks, but nothing else. And it was a complete waste of money, and I totally felt like I wasted my time. Do you feel the same way?
Yes and no. So I played soccer, won an Atlantic 10 championship when I was a junior. So sports, if I wasn't playing sports, then absolutely it would be a waste of time. But I've met some of my best friends on the team and met people from, some of my best friends are from Ghana, from overseas. So learned a lot about life there. So how you have it so well here and you take advantage of it. So learning the root of what makes you tick and what other people tick was a big thing that I learned as well.
Now, being quite a bit younger than me, you're 17 years younger than me. The way I grew up is not that much different than the way you grew up, except for you probably had a laptop in your hand. Yeah. I remember we were on Netscape, we were on all these different software platforms, but you've got that really solid family connection. I didn't have that. It means a lot to me with my family right now, the one I'm developing with my wife. You just got married the other day. How long ago was it?
June 22nd, so a couple months ago, 4 months ago.
You're going to try to start a family?
Absolutely.
How do you see this business and your family going together?
Yes, it's intertwined, right? So once you're an entrepreneur, your whole life is business, and you have to set that expectation with your family. So my wife knows, I'll put the phone down to go to dinner and spend time because you have to do that. But she knows if that phone rings at 9, 10 p.m., I got to answer. Yeah. I got to go clean these houses. I got to do the stuff that's going to change our family tree. Yeah. And she's fully in it. And she'll help me go do that stuff too if I need to, a lot like your wife.
Yeah, I will tell you one little trick. The kids change things a little bit once the kids come. Yeah. And I don't think it changes in the infancy, but as they're toddlers and somebody's super strict and somebody's super... Yeah. There's a reason why there's mama's boys and daddy's girls. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So, for you as a young guy investing in real estate, you probably, I know you didn't have picture your career going that way, right? You didn't picture yourself becoming a real estate investor. How did you picture your life going?
Honestly, I have no idea, man. So I mean, everybody talks about wanting to be a pro athlete. I was always injured, so I kind of threw that out of the cards pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I just had no idea. I knew I wanted to help my dad. I knew I wanted to just do whatever he did. It seemed cool because I worked in the property preservation business. I was like, this seems like a viable option. I just want to make a lot of money.
Right.
So I just went home and started working for him and became a home inspector and realized there was more to life than working your ass off every day for a certain dollar in return. So I can go out and create $400 in a couple hours, but that's the cap of it, right?
Right.
The investing is so much scalable, and the compound interest of it is so much scalable, and it's also a time game. So if you can put in the work just as hard as you would in that job to that, you look back in 10 years, you're going to create something that you can never take from you.
Yeah, it's really hard to screw it up, at least, right? And so that's awesome. So with like your newest wisdom to bestow upon somebody who's listening to the show right now that's like scared to take that next step. I think that one thing is when you're broke, you kind of got nothing to lose, and that's what you mentioned,
I love
right?
That. Yeah.
So what would you tell people who are listening, whether they got money or they don't have money?
Yeah, I mean, failure is inevitable.
Right.
You have to fail. So you're going to learn from your failures. Like I try to fail as often as I can because I'm going to learn faster.
Right.
So like I said in my presentation, I lost $100,000 on my first flip. But I listened to so much, like you can only educate so far without implementing, because then you're literally spending money to do nothing. So if you're broke and you lose, guess what? You're still broke, but you tried, right? So when you have a little bit of money, I mean, make educated decisions, but you gotta try, or partner with somebody or something to hedge your risk.
I almost think it's like better to fail your first time. Like I did the same thing.
Dude.
Like I failed the first time. Like I took a $240,000 loss over 15 years because I held on to those properties. Sure. But man, I think it teaches. Did you learn so much from that first one?
It teaches you that it's not all rainbows and butterflies right away. So like you get kicked in the nuts right away. You're like, holy shit. Well, these people on Instagram, like they're not sharing this. So you learn that entrepreneurship's actually hard, and you need to get around people that you can trust to give you the right education, the right mindset to go and do it again, but not do it wrong. Yeah.
And what were those big lessons on that first deal?
I mean, so for reference, it was a 4,000 square foot house, 5 bedrooms, 6 baths, lived in the house, all that good stuff. Flip houses with repeatable comps, 3-bed, 1-bath, 3-bed, 2-bath in a super dense area that has the same houses. They were built by the same person, same builder.
Yeah.
So you just know what it's going to sell for at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And don't do a full gut, do something cosmetic, and do something with multiple exits. My house we bought it for $425. We ended up selling for $710. And everybody's like, why don't you just rent it? And I'm like, dude, you can't rent out you're going to get $600,000 of debt on that house. The payment's gonna be $5,000, $6,000, and I can rent it for maybe $3,000. Yeah. So what, I'm supposed to take a $3,000 hit in tax write-off for money I don't have, right? Like, what am I thinking about tax write-offs when I don't have cash? So just make sure you're starting with something small, and then as you create money and wealth and whatever, start to take those risks.
Yeah. How has your confidence changed from the first one to where you're at right now? Because you've got over, 300?
Yeah, we've probably done over 300 deals. So half of them being wholesales, half of them being renovations.
Okay.
So, I mean, with money comes confidence, man. So you start doing more deals, you start seeing more things. I mean, I've inspected over probably 5,000 houses. I've seen every type of house. Yeah. So like I can tell you, if somebody tells me an area or a zip code or even a street, I can tell you some of the common themes of the houses. Yeah. I can tell you the age minimally. So I can tell you that a 100-year-old house probably has some knob and tube still in it.
Right.
That's going to be a different type of reno or different type of confidence than something with, like, I don't buy those sight unseen unless there's just crazy margin. But I just bought a house sight unseen that was built in the 70s, 2-bed, 1-bath. And there's only so many things that can be wrong if you get the right price on it.
Right. Yeah, that's totally true. One of the things that the only thing I do in a home inspection is a sewer scope at this point in time, because I'm like, everything else is whatever. What sort of things would you recommend newbie investors do? Yeah, so
newbie investors, get an inspection, because you're not paying for that 2 hours. You're paying for that 40 years that inspector has, and just go sit there and you're paying for their time. bug the hell out of them with questions. Just ask everything.
Yeah.
Because over time, like everything, it's like riding a bike. You got to show up and because especially if you're in a market, say Columbus, Ohio, you got houses that are 100, you got houses that are new. There's components that are different in all those. Unless you see it and learn it, you're never going to know.
Yeah.
So pay for somebody's time and learn. You got to be a sponge. I think people should take their investing destiny into their own hands, which means learn the actual things, sales, and learn construction. If you learn those two things, you're going to be impossible to lose. You
mentioned sales a lot. That's my best skill set.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a salesman or real estate investor?
Probably more salesman.
Yeah. And sales is the most. It's funny that when you were saying all the stuff that you were saying.
Yeah.
I was looking at my guys that are in my program because I told them, like, when I started the program, I didn't care about the program in terms of I could teach people how to invest in real estate. I cared about the sales because I was like, if I don't make any money, it doesn't matter if I'm teaching people.
You gotta drive revenue.
Gotta drive revenue. So what sort of books have you been studying on sales?
Sales books? I don't read many sales books, man. I like just trial and error. My business partner comes from 10 years of like old school car sales, so I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, he's probably pretty sharp.
Yeah, he's very sharp. And then also just the non-tangible phone sales. So like showing up and meeting somebody face to face and being able to persuade and being able to just bring confidence and all those things, like that's selling. Not just picking up the phone and asking somebody to sell their house. It's a lot of things that go on with it. So I would highly recommend people set appointments and go practice that. Meet the seller, the old lady at the house, and learn how to stand well and mirror their stuff. Like that stuff's very important.
Right, for sure. And with sales, like I always call it the 3 C's. Compliment, because everybody likes a compliment.
Absolutely.
You got a nice shirt.
Yep.
You know, right? I said that.
Yeah.
Compliment, confidence, and credibility.
Yep.
That's like, you know, and you can use somebody else's credibility if you don't have your own. What is the single biggest mistake that you've made in your real estate investing career?
Single biggest mistake. I would say just not firing that contractor on the first deal faster. That would be the single biggest mistake.
Yeah.
And then there's another house that I should have bought that I actually helped my parents buy.
Yeah.
Bought in the area that I lived in for 4 years. I didn't really know what I was doing yet. We bought the house for $45,000. We put probably 50, 60 into it. It probably is worth like $350 now.
Yeah.
But it was part of my thing. I talked about my family is my why. I didn't even tell about it during the speech. I helped them buy 5 rental properties in like 1 year.
Really?
To like, and I didn't really have anything yet, so they took the risk on me. Be like, okay, let's let Tom be my guinea pig in those houses. I mean, it probably within a year or two had $500,000 of equity. They pulled out a cash out refi and they ended up lending me some of that money. So it just was like them allowing me to think bigger and freely and believing in my dream was insane.
So what are your big dreams?
Oh man, I want to raise a nice sized family. I want to provide.
How many kids?
I always say 5 because I'm one of 5 and I love my family dynamic.
Yeah, I love that.
But my wife's gonna probably say differently. She wants 3, I think. So we'll probably split at 4. We'll split the difference.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I wanted 5 too. My wife's like, we're done it too.
Yeah. So I mean, and then beyond that, I want to create a community of investors. So the Real Side of Real Estate community of thousands of people that can learn and be a safe space to share losses and share wins and share actual tangible things that are needed. And then beyond that, I want to build an insanely big real estate portfolio. So
what's insanely big?
At least 1,000 units.
At least I think that's everybody's that's mine too. Like I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But 1,000. But like, what about sports teams and stuff like that? Like really, really like rich stuff. Because I see you as that type of guy. Like I want to get there. Like, do you have like goals of like owning like a soccer team or something?
Not really a sports team. I want to own like some really cool real estate. I want to own like some really sweet vacation houses and some cool markets. Definitely vacation markets like down south, the beach. I want to be able to provide an experience for my family and all of my friends. Like for my Airbnbs, we have like 15 and I manage another 10 with a buddy.
Yeah.
When my friends come into town, I let them stay for free in my Airbnbs, my nice ones, because like that's me giving back and being like, hey dude, I got you when you come home. I want to do the same thing with properties overseas or down in Florida or wherever it is, to be like, hey family, you guys want to go on a 2-week vacation? Stay at the south spot.
I love that. I'm gonna talk to you once your kids are a little bit older. Because it's like,
I'm sure a lot of this is gonna change.
Yeah, like when the kids, you're like, oh, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. It just softens you up a little bit, because you're right now, you're rugged, you're raw, you're hard, and everything like that. And then you get these kids, and you're just like, Okay. It just slows you down a little bit, but that's awesome. So are you going to buy any like big buildings, apartment complexes?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, awesome. And do you plan on continuing to live in Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, especially when kids come, because both of our families are there.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to stay in Columbus, Ohio and get maybe a second house somewhere. We like to travel a lot.
Where's your second place?
A house in Cabo would be sick.
Oh, yeah, I did hear you say that.
So we got married in Cabo.
That's right.
Cabo would be amazing.
Yeah, it's expensive there, though, man. Like, what's a house cost in Cabo?
A lot.
Like over $1 million, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and if you're on the beach, a lot more than that. A lot more. Like $5-10 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that should be doable for you in the next couple of years. Okay, just to kind of wrap things up, like, how do people follow your journey?
Yeah, so Instagram is going to be the best way, at least right now. So as of November of 2023, Instagram is probably our big platform. Grown the following base organically, about 100,000 followers in one calendar year.
Yeah, you're crushing me.
Yeah, so
awesome job.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So Instagram, I go live every Monday or Tuesday when my wife's at work and really just give out free game.
Has your growth mostly been through Reels?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, all Reels.
Which one took off the best?
There's only a few that have done like 500,000 plus, but all of them, like I get consistently like 20, 30, 40, 50. So it's just like proving that giving good, consistent content.
Yeah, I looked at that. Most years are all high.
Yeah.
I've had some bangers like 5-10 million, but I don't have the.
Yeah, see, I've never had the 5-10 million. I've just had the consistent, like, and it's always the ones you never think about. It's like, I just talked about cast iron plumbing, in a house, and it has like 150,000 views in a week.
Plumbers love to engage.
The contractors do, man. And they don't want to tell you how dumb you are and how good they are at it.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? The video, the one I think that hit 12 million was me talking to a plumber.
Yeah, the tankless or the, I was like, this is a cool video, but like, it's nothing crazy, right? It's
just, like, I had no idea that.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy like that. So with the social media, one of the things that we did with our children was we said, you're not allowed to be on social media.
Like that.
Till they're 18.
Yep.
You've seen the nasty side of social media for sure. If you're 100%. On it, it can beat you up pretty good, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I mean, for me, I talk about things I actually do. Yeah. And it's things that I would consider myself an expert in.
Right.
So if somebody's going to sit here and tell me that I'm an idiot, like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Like, I'm making money. I'm doing this. It's like, okay. So it's like an HVAC person. I said I was getting a full system for $7,500, and they're like, "There's no fucking way." And I'm like, "Well, like, I did it." So it's like you just gotta take it on the chin. And I love the idea of not letting your kids. I'm not gonna give them like iPads to let them kind of hang out and talk. Like I want them to engage and be able to be kids, right?
Yeah. So we're building a house in Naples right now, and we got our thing here. And my wife's like, well, "What are we doing?
Sure.
Like, what's our plan?" I'm like, I don't really believe in the school system anymore.
Yeah.
I think my kids love going to school, which is funny because I really hated it, but they love it, probably because I make them work really hard when they come home. But what do you think? Are you going to send your kids to regular school?
I don't know. We haven't really had that conversation yet. It would have to be probably public school if so, and it'd have to be pretty selective, but it needs to be diverse. I need like my kids to grow around black people, Asian people, people from other cultures, because that's what made me me. Is like I grew up around color's not a thing to me. Like we're all just people. Yeah. So you got to be able to immerse yourself in that. I don't like the all boys schools, the all white people school. Like that's just trash to me.
They got an all white school.
Yeah, I mean it's just like what is going on here? So
yeah.
I mean maybe there may be some homeschool thrown in there. It depends on how much we're going to be traveling and stuff like that. But I need them to be immersed in socialization and around people from other backgrounds.
What about places that you want to go right now?
As far as like travel?
Yeah.
We just went to Europe for a honeymoon, Greece. So like maybe like I think a trip to Asia would be cool.
It is amazing.
Yeah, I know you talked about that yesterday. You went to Thailand.
We actually went Thailand, Philippines, Singapore.
Damn.
Where else? Bali, Macau.
Yeah. That's nuts.
And a bunch of other places. Like what I always do is when any business cycle ends, at that point in time, I told you I was kicking ass for the REO.
Yep.
And we did that from 2008 till 2012, and then they passed a law said it was illegal to foreclose on people in Nevada, and so our business just went overnight. And I said it's time to go somewhere else, and I'll do that. In fact, in April of this year, I plan on going to Brazil.
No shit.
Yeah, South America.
That sounds amazing.
We're gonna fly down to Panama.
Nice.
Because Panama, I don't know if you're aware of this, but obviously know about the Panama Canal.
Yep.
But that's like where a lot of people, that's like the hub. There's like a straight flight directly to Panama from pretty much every major city.
Really?
Through Copa Airlines.
Okay.
And so I figured if you can go start there and start moving down to like Colombia and Brazil. So I'm going to do that this year.
Yeah, my buddy's from Colombia and he said it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Cheap and just gorgeous.
Yeah. The funny thing is we've got it so good here. Like you've just demonstrated how easy it is to, well, I don't say easy. It's not easy, but how it's easier than in any other country.
Absolutely.
To become financially free.
100%.
How many doors do you own right now?
65 or so.
65 or so. What's the goal for next year?
We'll double it at least.
Double it. I gotta step up my game, man.
We'll double it.
How are you guys gonna double it?
We just have the lead flow. So like, we still have the wholesaling company. We still have, and I throw free events around town. I want to see every deal that comes from anybody. So we started our JV department. So we've got a guy that's going to be meeting with realtors, and he's going to be rubbing shoulders with wholesalers and Instagram, like pushing them to them. And it's just another one of our Podio forms. So like acquisitions has theirs, and JV's going to have theirs, and they're going to work it like any other deals. I just want to see everything that comes, and like got the private money for it, got the team for it, ready to go even more all in.
I love it. What about novations? Do you guys do those?
We just started to like step into that, dip our toes. Like we've got 2 deals right now that we're going to try and pitch it. But I'm really a big person on like really dive into get good at one thing. Because I think people, when they hear about novations, they kind of drop the other things. So it's really easy to like not find motivation with the seller and be like, hey, by the way, I can offer you what you're asking if we do this. But it's like, you didn't really figure out the motivation, and you could have got that property for maybe $50,000 less if you asked the right questions.
Right.
So people, it's just a tool in your kit, but like you can't throw it out right away. It's kind of a last resort for us to hold on to deals that we think we can keep. Yeah,
I've kind of ruled it out up until recently just because I don't morally agree with it a lot of times. Like they call it the equity protection program.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like the what did they name the Biden law that they put across the I forget what it was, but it was all climate control, and they call Inflation Reduction Act. It's like, dude, this has nothing to do with inflation or reduction. All right, man. So just to kind of wrap things up, give the audience some words of wisdom in terms of like what you would tell your younger self, even though you're like only 29.
So I mean, you overestimate what you can do in a day. Right. You underestimate what you can do in a year. Ed Milet says it's compound pounding. You got to do something. You got to take action on it every single day. You're going to look back 90 days and you're going to take steps. You're going to look back at a year and you're going to take massive steps. So find something. For me, it was real estate investing. Go all in. Take those failures on the chin, but never give up. I mean, you're gonna fail, but fail often, fail forward, and compound pound it.
I love that, man. So how do people follow you again?
Tommy Harr 05 on Instagram, TikTok. We'll start YouTube here soon as well.
Nice. What are you guys going to do on YouTube? Same stuff?
I don't know. We've been posting shorts, but I don't know. We're going to start probably posting more like walkthroughs on deals and talking about things and properties, more educational type stuff.
If you need any help, I grew to 125,000, which took a long, long time. It's a super, I can tell you there's a lot of, I would take Graham Steffen's course. He's got it for like $397. Okay. That was something that helped me out. But if you need any help on that, any way I can help you out at all, let me know.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anybody wanting to start like their social media journey too, you got to start with like the end in mind. There is no end to that stuff. You're building your brand. So you have to sit down and look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, this is going to be in perpetuity for as long as you can remember. You got to commit to that stuff. Same thing with being a business person. Like I'm in this business game for life. Yeah. So like there is no quitting on this shit, right? So you got to really see if you have the guts for it. And you got to have that conversation before you kind of just dip your toes in.
Who edits your guys' videos?
Rob does.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's one of the hardest skills to make those things pop. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean we make it very basic. We just stand in one spot. I read my script. I write everything out line by line, and then I go stand in a bathtub, say my lines, and then I go hang from a rafter or something and do the same things.
Yeah, I have the hardest time scripting stuff.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time. You gotta get creative too. It burns me out sometimes, but
Well, just whenever we'll do scripts in here for like commercials that people write. Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, just give it to me. Just give it to me raw because I can't even get it out of my mouth. It's like I'm fumbling on all my words. Yeah. So that's definitely something I'm going to try out though, for sure. Any big goals for the rest of the year before you finish out?
No, man. No major goals towards the end of the year. Just continue to do what we're doing. But I also wanted to say before we end this, appreciate you having me down here or over here in Kansas City. Anybody that is on the fence coming to these events or trusting Troy with your education, highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Dude walks the walk, talks the talk. Because you meet people on social media and you're like, the first thing is, are they real? They do what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in this building. I mean, how big is this building?
96,000 square feet.
96,000 square feet. And I was like, he talked about, he bought it. And I was like, no fucking way this guy owns this place. And he's like, yeah, we own it. And I was like, I was walking down the show like, holy shit.
Yeah, so, man. That was a little bit of an ego play, I'll be honest with you. But because I knew it didn't pencil, it's going to take you some time. But yeah.
Dude, you own a piece of history. And it's insane.
Yeah, and this is one I don't ever want to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. And for those of you guys listening to Tommy, he's the real fucking deal. Like, he is the real deal. He's a young guy. You give me hope for the generation because there's so many lazy people
it's insane.
That are in your age group that don't want to apply for jobs.
It's crazy.
Guys like Danny who are hardworking people, but there's not a lot of those guys left.
Yeah, man. I mean, you can teach work ethic. My dad taught me it, but then like, I know you have this. I mean, you just got that voice in your head, just like you can't sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
You gotta work. You gotta make something of your life because you only have one. It's so short.
It is so short. It's like, man, we're gonna be, and tomorrow we could die.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you give him a 5-star review. Make sure you share this video with a friend. Put it out there. Make this thing go viral. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you in the next one.
Peace.
Hey, if you're listening to this podcast right now, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you give us a 5-star review. And we've got content all over the place, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. But we also have a coaching program. If you are looking for a coach, we have the Millionaire Mentorship, and this is a coaching program where I actually help you get your first investment property within the first 90 days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash. That's how confident I am to get you that type of result. And I know you might be here and you might be listening, you might be scared, you might not want to take action, but that is not going to get you where you want to be. And obviously, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you want to take action and you're trying to gather the information, but maybe you're confused. Maybe you're just like a lot of people that I talk to. You're scared of losing money. You want to become financially free, but you don't know where to start. And that's exactly what I help you to do in this program. So do yourself a favor, book a call with me and my team, and let's get the ball rolling. The link is in the description, and we'll put it in the video right here, right now. Thanks.